That was a joke. Can I ask you a question? Which came first? The God or the God? Or the God of the God? Or the oh my God, it's Goddy God? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, the egg did, but, you know, he was very nervous. It was his first time, and he said it happens to a lot of other men. You prick. I'll tell you what came first, right? I'll tell you what arrived first. 100 million billion years ago, back when vinyl records were all the rage, people had Flock of Seagulls haircuts, and Isambard Kingdom Brunel invented the tumble dryer that ran on Marmite. There was an explosion in the arsehole of a poor Jamaican pensioner who was sat there simply trying to read the Daily Mail and get a grip of what was wrong with his own people. And then, out of this explosion, there came an immense pile of shit, and everybody sat there and went, life stinks. And when he finally came round, 100 billion years later, on their 12th birthday, founders of the Jackson 5, who were actually just, it turned out, one black midget with an afro suspended under a series of mirrors that would be projected to make him look like there were many others around him. And also, when you only have one black guy on stage, people in America at that time were still a little bit socially unaware and were still a little bit uncultured, and they would have thought it was automatically a slave auction. And let's face it, who the fuck wants a midget slave? Another midget. At that point, Michael Jackson, who it turned out at the time was actually made of refried beans and a pint of jizz that was collected in the final dying days of Freddie Mercury, and as such was very potent and ironically tasted exactly like Sunny Delight. All of it turned out that when Michael simply chanted the words bang, at that point this ostrich shot out of his anus. It was the size of Bulgaria, and it flew all over the place, and it sucked up through its nose every single part of the world and just left a blank ball, which it turned out had made in China written on it, which was weird because China, as you know, is a bizarre little subculture that lives in the centre of the moon, and it never comes out at night, which is a problem when you live on the moon because it's always fucking night time. Now, at that point, the moon exploded, and in the moon, it turned out, was, get this, was a young version of American comedian George Burns, who at the ripe young age of 1,050,000 just decided that having replaced every part of his body with prosthetic limbs, prosthetic internal organs, and a moustache that he found on the ball bag of a rodent, he then became president of the universe that he just invented in his own mind. He decided that he would draw a picture. This picture was of nothing more than a giant cock. Classic cock, ball, dick, ball. Line, Jap's eye. And then he drew these jizz marks coming out of it. Classic line, but the pen was running out. Now what people don't realise is black is not really a colour. Now I'm not being racist there. I'm not going to say black isn't a colour. It's actually an embarrassment. Now what I'm going to say is black is actually really dark brown. Ironically, because black people are actually a bit lighter brown. But the point I'm trying to make here is that as it ran out, it left nothing more than this pale brown dot, which would later be plagiarised and stolen by Carl Sagan and turned into blue. And this brown dot would then be passed on to every important figure through history. Unfortunately, many of them didn't pick it up because they were the same skin colour as this dot. Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Gary Wilmot, Des O'Connor, Lionel Blair, and of course Michael Jackson. Well, he's been dead a while, he must have gone back to black now. And then, one day, it was finally given to someone with whom it was visited. Gaze upon the brown dot of the creator of this universe. He gave it to me. Do you know why? Do you know why he gave it to me? Because it fucking slipped out of his hand. It was supposed to be given to someone who could actually make this world a better place. Default or not, I am the chosen descendant in the holy shit of Temple of Doom, The Last Crusade in Bangkok and Little China. Free Willy Goes Banana, Part 5. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you believe a single word of what I just said? Can you actually disprove a single thing I just said? I think you would say, well, no. At this moment, if I'm to sit here and genuinely say that as I turn into a tree and I sit here and posit that the the ripped up skin from the ball bag of a person that was created for a brown dot that turned out to actually be a piece of shit. Would you believe it and start to worship me? Why? Even you would be sat there along with L. Ron Hubbard and David Icke, and all three of you would quite rightfully go, this man is fucking mental. And you would be right to do that. But until you can fucking prove that I'm completely wrong, you have nothing to fucking threaten me with. To quote Norman Wisdom in On the Buses. I'm hoping that you're sat there feeling, what the hell is this nutter doing other than probably thinking about how he's gonna cook the meat of his family who are chained to the basement fucking railings. Sautéed is the answer. You should be feeling that I am not really all that well equipped in the mental department, but I am equipped in most others. Why do you feel this way? You've just been listening to the gibberings of a madman. I want you to remember this feeling, because this feeling is how people feel when they watch your videos. That and the absolute urge to chop off their penises just to try and amuse themselves. You should now be feeling and understanding. I'm sorry when you sit there and go, atheists know that God exists. Well, fucking shut up about him then. If we know, why are you telling us? That's me like you saying, you know how much pornography I've got under my bed. Right? Which is not possible. The pornography under my bed cannot be physically or visually or mentally or in any way conceived. Right? That's like me telling you, you know exactly what age, the time, date and place I was when I last farted, followed through and found it amusing. Right? Don't tell me what I fucking know, you stupid little prick. I won't tell you what you fucking know, even though I could probably fit it on the back of a fucking thumbnail from a vole. And we can actually have a conversation where you ask a question, I give you an answer, you listen to it and think. And then I can ask a question, give me an answer, and I can go, wow. And then we can say, right, let's agree to disagree and fuck off, shall we? Stop fucking being such a prick. Which is something I should never have to say to anyone. Richard, the other Dick Coughlan, 4891-285-6144. Phone now to get your free pencil-shaped pencil.